Question number 5, Kieran McAnulty.
Mr Speaker, to the Minister of Transport, by how much will investment in local and regional roads increase under the draft government policy statement on land transport?
Mr Speaker,
The Honourable Phil Twyford.
under the draft government policy statement on land transport, the amount able to be spent on local and regional roads increases considerably. The regional road improvements activity class nearly doubles over the next 3 years. Spending on local roads increases by 43%, and we increase state highway maintenance and local road maintenance too. This government is committed to improving roads in the regions. Half of all vehicle journeys are not on state highways but are on local roads. Yet less than 5% of the National Land Transport Fund under Nationals policy was spent on improving them. This is going to change.
Supplementary. How does this compare to past National Land Transport Fund spending?
With a warning that the member's going to have to be very careful.
Regional and local roads are in need of serious investment. National Land Transport Fund spending was reduced in some regions by as much as 30%. The amount of the National Land Transport Fund spent on the West Coast, Taranaki, Southland, Otago, Northland, Hawke's Bay, Gisborne and the Bay of Plenty was significantly reduced between 2009 and 2018. This GPS will stop those cuts and invest in our regions.
Supplementary. How will the government make local roads safer?
Well, Mr Speaker, early work suggests that there may be around $800 million worth of high-value road safety improvements in need of funding on local roads alone. It's estimated that once complete, these improvements could prevent 160 deaths and serious injuries per year. That's less than half the cost of the previous government's East-West Link project. Road deaths are not an inevitability, they are the result of choices. This government will choose to ensure that our family and friends come home safe at the end of the day.
Supplementary.
Jami-Lee Ross, supplementary.
How does the $70 million increase in the regional improvements category compensate for the $5 billion cut in state highway budget?
It's part of a package of spending on every other activity class other than state highway improvements, including a 43% increase in local roads.
Question number 6, the Honourable Paul Goldsmith.
To the Minister of Regional Economic Development. Does he stand by all his government's policies